early January, maybe. But nonetheless, they wanted to try out the new place to see if their burgers were any good, so that's what they got. And I went in with them because I wanted to look at the menu. So we go in, and one of the most ruggedly handsome slash, I don't want to say gorgeous because that kind of counteracts rugged, but attractive men I've ever seen in my life is behind the counter. I just got a text from my Nana. I'll respond to her later. But her text message asks me, this is so funny, I swear, but you know, like, people forget things, especially as they get older, but I have been telling her about dairy-free cheese for literal years, and I have given her some to try, like the chow cheese slices. I've given her some to try. She just texted me. She started listening to this new podcast. My Nana has discovered podcasts recently, and she just started listening to one. And so I can always tell what they talked about on the podcast because she typically texts me something so funny. She just texted me and said, oh my gosh, dairy-free cheese with a bunch of, like the tongue out emoji. She's like, did you know that that existed? Girl, Nana, I've been telling you about dairy-free cheese forever, and you don't listen to me, but you sure want to listen. Oh my gosh, so many texts. I just got a text from someone else. But you want to listen to the people on your podcast. Okay, I'm a little bitter about that. But anyway, as I was saying, I today saw one of the most gorgeous men I've ever seen in my life. He was behind the counter, and I'm not typically into, I don't have anything against tattoos by any means. I think they're quite beautiful, and I love any way that you can creatively express yourself. I am 100% advocate for it. I love it. So I like tattoos. With that being said, I'm not typically attracted to men that are like decked out in tattoos. It's just not my thing. But he had a ton of tattoos, so already it's like you're out of the ordinary of what I would find attractive. But he had this one tattoo on his neck, which neck tattoos, I'm sorry, are so sexy unless it's scripture. I hate when people have like a neck tattoo and it's like one line of a lyric or a scripture or whatever it is, because it's never even. I think what annoys me about that is that the line is always slightly crooked. It's never even across your neck, and it pisses me off. Like, it offsets my OCD so bad. So I don't like written words on your neck. But, and I also don't like if the full neck is done. But however, sometimes if it's a tattoo that's like, you can tell that it is, I don't know why I'm flashing y'all, but you can tell that it's a tattoo that starts elsewhere on the body, the shoulder, the chest, the back, and then the edges of it peaks up. That is the sexiest thing known to me, and I'm sorry, like, I can't handle myself when I see that, because first of all, it's like, I want a brunette, which I'm not typically. Like black hair, red hair and black hair always, especially if it's got like silver threaded through it, that little silver fox look. Yes, but you guys know red hair and black hair are like my things that instantly makes a person more attractive in my eyes. But he was like a brownish, it wasn't even a dark brown, it was a light brown, almost bordering on blonde, kind of. Which is, so the fact that, and I know it sounds silly, but I know myself and I'm not usually attracted to lighter shades of hair on men specifically, women, whatever you got going on, boo, you fine, okay? You're gorgeous, you're beautiful, stunning queen. But when it comes to men, I'm pickier. So the fact that he had a lighter shade of brown bordering on like blonde, and I still found him to be one of the most attractive men in my life I've ever seen, says something about this man's looks. Anyway, and he was so cute, and I wasn't ordering again, I was just in there checking out the vibes of the place. But he kept like glancing at me out of the corner of his eye. Stop. And maybe this is me being delulu. I am very much the queen of delusion, okay? I thrive on being delusional. It makes me happy. It's my happy place. I often maladaptive daydream, like delusion slash daydreaming, you know, anything in that realm. It's my thing. I live for it. So I could be exaggerating. Maybe he wasn't glancing at me. Maybe he was looking at the TV in the corner, whatever. But I'm just gonna say he was looking at me, okay? And so I'm in there like gassed up, like he like looking at me like he's side I am here, whatever. But I wasn't doing any talking because I wasn't ordering. And then I think men are more likely, in my experience, men are more likely to hit on you when you're alone versus when you're with someone, especially if they're unsure of the relationship between you and the person that you're with. They don't know if it's your uncle, your brother, your cousin. They don't know if it's your girlfriend, whatever, like your romantic partner. So nothing came from it, but this place is not that far from my house, so you can bet your ass the next time I want a burger, I'm gonna go, and I hope that he's working, and we'll see what happens. Maybe I'll strike up a little conversation, or maybe I'll let him do it better yet, because I like to be pursued. I don't do the chasing, baby. Leftover orange juice from my mukbang. Oh, screen tapping, I'm stories in my head, especially if I've recently seen a very attractive looking person. I often daydream about like what it would be like if that person was in my life based on little to no like substantial information about this person. All I really know is what they look like and if we said a few words in passing to each other, but nonetheless it's just fun. I create entire movies in my head, like love stories, every single night to go to sleep in my head, and it plays out quite literally like a movie. Like I can see it, I close my eyes and I can see it playing behind my eyelids. It's crazy. Does anyone else do that? Does anyone else do that? Do that? Do that? Do that? Do that? Let me know if you do. But it's safe to say that he is going to feature in my new nightly daydreams. So, also you guys, I recently got an email that is so funny. Well, it's not like haha kiki funny, but it's just kind of ironic. In that video that I did a while back where I was playing with slime and talking about moving to Scotland, I put in the title playing with slime and rambling about moving to Scotland. And I just got an email the other day. I'm not gonna say their name because I'm not trying to do all that, but from someone that claims to be a producer of a show about people moving abroad. And they're like, I saw your video about you moving to Scotland and I'd love to know about your experience there and how you did it, how you found a job and housing, blah blah. And it's quite obvious they didn't actually watch or listen to my video because I don't live in Scotland. I would like to, but I don't live in Scotland. So they saw my title and then just took it and ran and assumed I moved to Scotland. That's why you should do your research. That's so embarrassing. Can you imagine being a producer of a show and going based off of a title? Because people use clickbait all the time. That wasn't my intention, but people do it. So imagine someone, 90% of people using clickbaity titles, and then you just pick random people and you're like, hey, I'd love to have you on my show, when that title is so far out of context from what is actually transpiring in that person's life or what's actually going on in that video. Like, that's embarrassing. Watch the video, do your freaking research, okay? But anyway, so they get on and on and on about how they'd love to have me on their show and blah 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 blah, but they never mentioned the name of the show. And in the email they were like, this is a very extremely popular show, blah blah, right? If you're a producer of an extremely popular show, wouldn't you want to put the name of the show in the email? Not once did they say the name. But if it's so popular and it's doing so well, she's talking about the ratings of the show and all that, wouldn't you put that in so that people can be like, oh, this is legitimate? Or even if they've never heard of it, they can do their research on the show. Like, something about that is just extremely fishy to me, because it's like you're trying to get me to join something and I don't even know what the frick I'm joining. So I responded back and I'm like,